All right, meeting's being recorded. All right, so it is 7:01 on October 6, 2021. This is the Parks Committee meeting of Community Board 11. We have quorum, which is great. My name is Lisa Soto. I am the chair of the committee. And for the record, let me just see who else we have here. We have committee members, Debbie. I'm sorry, Debbie. I don't know your last. I can't think of your last name, and it's not here for me to read it.
Kowalik.
Debbie Kowalik. Yes. How could I forget that? Okay, so we have Debbie Kowalik, Edith Blitzer from the committee. From the public, we have Diana Finch, and let me scroll down. Matt C. Matt, what is your last name?
It's Caulfield.
Caulfield. Thank you, Matt. Natalie, is this Natalie from the community board? Medina?
Yes, Natalie Medina.
Okay, are you on the committee? No, right? You just here?
No, I'm just listening in.
Okay, no problem. And Roxanne. And sorry, I got a weird pop-up. Give me a second. Get out of my way. Okay. So let me read the conduct statement, which we should all be familiar with at this point, but for the record, I'll read it again. Community Board 11 meetings should be held in a professional and hostile-free environment. The following guidelines are applicable to members of the public, Community Board 11, and Community Board 11 staff. Any personal attacks against a board member, staff member, member of the public, or elected official, or the representative at any particular meeting will result in the individual being asked to leave the meeting and could result in the meeting's closure. Any inappropriate outbursts during any meeting may result in the individuals being asked to leave. If outbursts or attacks continue, this may be considered disturbing the peace and authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, the person will be muted or expelled for the remainder. All public speakers must address and face Community Board 11 members with their concerns. Electioneering for a position other than officer of the Community Board is prohibited. I think that's it. Yep, that is it. So first thing on the agenda is we need someone to take minutes. It is very difficult to run the meeting and take minutes at the same time. So Edith or Debbie, can one of you guys take minutes? I'll jump out at once. I mean, if not, I don't want to have to just assign someone. I'd rather someone just volunteer.
I'm sorry, I missed what was being said. I was talking to Al. I'm in the Morris Park meeting currently right now. There's a lot of conversation going on here, so I'm sorry. I missed what you were saying.
Lisa.
Yes.
Lisa, it's Edith. I can commit. I have a very big health issue right now, and I'm going through a lot of tests. It seems I had a silent heart attack.
Oh my goodness. Are you
So
okay?
I can't commit because I don't know when I'll have to go or whatever.
No. I'm asking for right now, for today's meeting. Can someone take minutes?
I would love to say yes. I would love to say yes, but like I said, I'm in the Morris Park meeting, so I'm trying to take notes of both things. It's kind of, I can't guarantee I'm going to get anything correct.
Okay. Edith, are you able to take minutes?
Not right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just record the meeting and we'll figure it out, I guess. All right. So we need to review the May 2021 minutes. Debbie, Edith, have you had a chance to look at those minutes?
I did not review them, but I have no objection as far as I know.
Okay.
I'll second that. No objection.
No objection. Okay. So that passes. Minutes accepted. Okay, so next up, we are supposed to have Matt Dorian from the Parks Department here, but he is not, he's still coming, but not until late. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and read some of the notes I had from the Parks meeting, which is probably what he was gonna go over. And then if we have any specific questions on any of these things or anything additional, then we can ask him when he joins. So we had a meeting with Community Board 11 staff and myself. Had a meeting with several people from the Parks Department over the summer, and they went through several of the projects that that are on board that they're working on right now. So the updates that I have are, one is Loretto Park, which we found out finally, and some of this you guys may have already heard through the grapevine. This might not be new news anymore, but just these are the notes I took over the summer. That the delay, it was a long delay with Loretto Park, and that apparently was due to an issue with Con Edison. They had to find a different power source. It sounded very silly in my opinion, but why the agencies, why it wouldn't work out. But I guess Con Edison wouldn't let them tap into the light poles where they would normally get the power, or I guess maybe that wasn't enough power, so they had to source a different, they had to look for a different power source, and that took time. So that apparently was the big delay with Loretto Park. Now there's another delay, and there was a second delay due to materials. They couldn't get the materials that they needed. So supposedly they were going to resume in this fall 21. I haven't been, I'm, you know, now I'm back in the office most days, so I haven't seen the park during the day to see if construction has resumed. Edith, Debbie, have you noticed if construction has resumed at Loretto? Or if you've been around it?
Construction has not resumed. I honestly don't even believe the material delay, because while they were delayed, supposedly with the Con Ed, they could have been gathering the material. So I kind of believe that's a farce. I mean, I'm telling it like it is, but they have not done anything. And this weekend we're having the Columbus Day Parade, and it's gonna be walking right, it's gonna go right by that park, and that park is atrocious. So
Yeah, no, it definitely has. I agree. Though I will say, yes, you're right. They could have been trying to multitask, but I feel like for whatever reason, agencies don't like to do that. They're very much like, no, things have to happen in a certain order. And I know now, currently there's delays with everything because of the whole supply chain disruption due to COVID. Like there's delays in everything from
I
cars to toys.
I really don't, I don't believe that. I mean, there was also the excuse with the roadway material for Pelham Parkway. So that seems to be their petrol excuse, that it's a material issue, and I do not believe that.
Okay.
You know, Lisa, I am really embarrassed because there are going to be a lot of people outside of our community marching in that parade on Sunday. And for them to see that disgusting sight, it really is nauseating. And
Yeah.
I really don't know what we can do about it. Nothing.
Nothing. I mean, we can, when Matt, when Matt joins later, we can certainly voice our concerns and see if he has any additional updates.
I'm on.
But, oh, Matt, how are you? Welcome. You joined
thank
at just
you.
the right time.
Yes.
So yes, we were just talking about Loretto Park and and I reiterated, I don't know if you heard what I was talking about, but
Yeah, I heard like the last few minutes. I jumped on a few minutes ago.
Okay.
I know that you're concerned, the supply chain thing, I can tell you, is real. You might not believe it. That's fine. I'm currently also doing some construction stuff. Personally, I can't get any supplies for the stuff I'm doing. So it is a legitimate thing. we're trying not to let the contractors use that as an excuse because they've had a long time to do this, but it is a legitimate thing. And outside of that, I have zero leverage in speeding anything up. That is all pretty much run through our capital division, which is out in Queens. So I understand your complaints about the aesthetics of the park, especially for the parade that's coming up that's very popular in the neighborhood. There's nothing that I could do, and at the borough level, I don't think there's too much we can do about that, unfortunately.
Well, nothing we can do right now. Today's already Wednesday. The parade is Sunday, unless some kind of miracle happens.
Anything
But-
inside that fence is, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, we're not blaming you, Matt. We're
Yeah,
just
I know.
stick a dynamite under whoever is responsible for it.
We do, and there's a whole there's a whole division in the agency that their job is to keep these things moving. So,
So they're doing a lousy job. Yeah.
well, let me give you an example of another contract I had. Okay, we pushed and we pushed and we pushed, and we sent letters and we did everything, and we threatened them with default, and nothing happened. This is not in Community Board 11. So this is one further down along the Bronx River Parkway that's in Community Board 6. And we pushed them and we pushed them, and the community was up in arms, and we pushed them and we threatened them with another letter of default, and they defaulted. And so we pulled the contract from them. And if that happens, you guys are 10 times worse off, because
Yeah.
then the contract has to then go back out to rebid, and they have to do a redesign for the stuff that actually was done that they can't include in the new contract. Then you're looking at another year for redesign, another year for the contractor to get the bid, and then another year. So it could delay the project 5 years from now. So we do push them, but there's only so much leverage that we have, because they do have a contract.
Do they get
yeah.
fined in any way?
They forfeit a percentage of the contract. They don't get fined, no.
Okay.
And so we'll hold certain bonds for each part, and then we withhold a percentage of the contract award till the end that won't get paid off until the Parks Department and myself, including a whole bunch of others, sign off for the work and the quality of work and the guarantee of the work. So, but they'll get probably paid for 85 to 90% of it, and we'll withhold like 15 to 10% that they might not see, depending on how the contract goes. So
Yeah,
I guess you
but
could
you
look
got-
at that could be the way you look at it, it's a financial hit to the pocket, whether it's a fine or not getting the contract.
Yeah, but Matt, from what you're saying now, if everything starts from scratch, it's going to be another 5 years. We might as well stick this one out and see, maybe with
Oh.
God help, it'll be ready in a year.
Absolutely. Even if it takes an extra year, you're still way better off than having it go into default. Going
I
into
don't-
default is the worst thing that could happen for the
You know-
agency, for you guys, and for the project itself.
You know, Matt, it wouldn't be so bad if we actually, for somebody, at least pick up a shovel.
Yeah. I understand.
What I don't understand is how they have material for other projects, but not to complete this project.
Debbie, because this is the Bronx.
No. We have other capital projects that are being delayed because of material shortages. So it's not the only one. It's the only one that you guys have in Community Board 11.
Right. And Debbie, you also mentioned that Pelham Parkway is delayed too, right, because of materials?
Pelham Parkway was using that as an excuse for their bus lane. They also have not even put the asphalt down on Esplanade and the service road area by St. Catherine's and whatnot. That's just regular asphalt. I know they're not out of asphalt, so that's kind of an apple and an orange. I mean, they've been working on Pelham Parkway since my daughter was a freshman in high school, and she's already 24 now, so it's ridiculous.
Hey, Debbie, they did a lousy job on our side, on the south side, and unfortunately, the same contractor came up with the lowest bid, and they took them to the north side.
I know. I 100% agree with you. It's like a Mars lunar landing driving on the westbound on the south side. It's atrocious.
They're supposed to repay them. I guess not in my lifetime.
Maybe not in anybody's.
Yeah, probably not even mine.
All right, well, let's move on. East Chester was the next one, Matt. I don't know if you heard, I'm just basically going through the notes that I took from the meeting that we had this summer where we went through the capital project updates. So, East
Sure. Yeah, I was
Chester-
on that meeting too. Yeah.
Yeah, so East Chester is fully funded. And I wrote in my notes, this is for the playground design. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah. Preface that when you say fully funded, it's not for the entire park. Remember in
Right,
the
for the
meeting that
playground.
we talked that a full park and full comfort station would probably be around 20 million.
Mhm.
And this was, I don't know if you have a amount in your notes. I think it's around 1.8 million.
I have the chart actually. Hold on. East Chester. It says 4.85 mayoral and 4850 under total project funding.
Okay.
So it's funded for the playground part.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Correct.
And then the
Comfort
design.
station is not included. Yeah.
Right, and the design process is supposed to start later this year, right?
Yeah. Do you guys know about the capital project part of the park's website? It's a good spot where you can just keep an eye on stuff. They actually do a decent job of keeping it updated. If you go to the park's website and you go to capital projects, it's a
Mhm.
park's capital project tracker. So
Yes.
it's on our website. Yeah.
Perfect. Good. Zimmerman is underfunded, needs 9.4
Oh,
million.
wait.
Right?
I apologize. My comments before, I was confusing two parks. You're right. East Chester was funded. I was referring to Zimmerman. Zimmerman was underfunded. Yeah.
Right.
And
So
the
that one is not gonna start at all until it gets money.
right. They're gonna keep it there right now. I don't think they're gonna move it, but that's the $20 million park project. So
Right. And it said it
yes,
needs, my notes say it needs 9.4 million.
9.4 million just to get to another one level, and then another 10 million to get to another level above that. You know.
For Zimmerman. Okay. The next one I had on my list was Waring. And that's
Yeah.
supposed to be completed summer 22.
I could shed just a little bit of light on some of the issues with Zimmerman. If
Oh, sure, go ahead.
the super general, when I was talking to our capital design team, if you go to Zimmerman Playground, one of the issues is where it lies. So everything underground on Zimmerman needs to be reconstructed. So it's basically the park needs to be dug up and brought up to code. And if Zimmerman, you go to Zimmerman Park, you're walking like down into a depression in the entire area. And the drainage is not sufficient, everything's not sufficient. And as building codes progress along the years, everything becomes outdated. And so you're looking at, if you start doing anything at Zimmerman, you got to do more than you really want to because of that. And then you just get up into those numbers.
I forget, I don't remember if this came up on the call that we did, or if it came up in a previous meeting, but people were concerned that one of many concerns about Zimmerman is that the community wants to have events there, but they can't have events there because the bathrooms are not functional. Is there a way to get that, obviously not now, but for next summer, you know, while we're still trying to get this issue resolved, is there a way to get like a trailer or some kind of porta potties or something so that they can, you know, that so that the park is still functional in that sense?
Yes, we did, and we actually did that right after we had the consultation meetings in August. So they've had 2 porta potties since then. So they're over there. So there's a handicap one and a regular one.
Okay. Matt, I have another question. It's Edith. I remembered
Okay.
one of our meetings, we were talking about the fence at the Bronx Park East Park, where
Yeah.
the park is right there, right off the parkway.
Yep.
My concern was when the cars come off and make a right, they're gonna go crash right into the park. Any way we
And-
can reinstate that, you know, fix that fence, make it sturdier?
Yeah, it's possible. I know the commissioner's working at replacing that fence.
Okay, because that's dangerous. I was down there a few weeks ago. I held my breath when I saw the cars zooming down there.
You're
Wait,
talking
what?
about northbound, taking the exit for the Bronx Zoo exit there,
Exactly.
Hudson Road.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to get a better guardrail there because
Oh, that would be terrific.
regardless of whether we put a fence there or not, you still have cars crashing into the fence. If you put
Yeah,
a new
but
fence
yeah,
there, then you got a
but
damaged new fence.
that's even better.
Yeah. So,
I'm all for it.
I mean, actually,
yeah, I know.
while we're on that topic of that particular area, I've been meaning to ask this for a while, and you just reminded me, Edith. That underpass used to be beautifully painted with little animals. Like, and now obviously, I guess, you know, over the years it deteriorated and now it's totally gone. Who does that? Was that DOT? Was that you? Was that the zoo?
No, I think that was
That
the
was the
zoo.
state.
That's not Parks jurisdiction right there. That's
Okay.
DOT Bridges and the
Wait,
zoo.
wait, I'm sorry, Debbie, I can't hear him. What were you saying, Matt?
That's not Parks jurisdiction. That's DOT Bridges.
DOT
And-
Bridges.
And I think it's the zoo that did those murals.
I think with the zoo also, because we investigated it before. And we have to talk to Daisy at the zoo and see what she has to say.
Yeah, I'll give her a call. I talk to her all the time anyway.
Okay.
I'll ask her about it. It's just, it's one of those things that's always, that I think about it as I'm driving through it and then I forget. So I'm glad you brought up that area. Okay, and then, okay, so that's it for Zimmerman. Waring, is scheduled to be completed by the summer of 2022. Is that still correct, Matt?
I think it's fair to say it's too early to see if that's still correct, but it is under construction.
Okay. And then the dog run, we spoke about that, unfortunately it cannot be at Loretto Park because the bocce court is still in use. But, you guys said that you were open to alternative suggestions if people had them and that you would look into it. And those were all the notes that I had from that meeting. Matt, do you have any other updates that you wanted to provide to us?
Mm,
Can I interject something here? Remember they were talking
don't-
about a dog park over there? And the school across the street objected. Mark, did you talk to the school to see if anything?
Did I? No.
Yeah.
It was taken out of my hands. That's being dealt
Okay.
with from the commissioner's office. So
Okay. So
Yeah,
Iris
I guess-
has to do
I
that.
guess it became irrelevant once they decided, you know, the bocce courts are still in use and, so it doesn't even matter one way or another what the school. thinks.
Exactly.
It's just on the table.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I doubt it very much.
That's unfortunate. It's not that I have a dog, but
One of the things too is that we don't want to put dog runs in playgrounds. So
I can understand because the school uses it for their children for recess.
yeah. And yes, it was brought up that there are some playgrounds that have dog run, but it's not a practice that the parks wants to
Right.
continue to do. So
All right. I just feel bad. I know Matt and his wife put a lot of work, the other Matt and his wife put a lot of work into trying to get those signatures, but,
Well, if they have other options, they can present those.
okay, well, maybe we'll ask him when we get to the public gallery session, which will be soon.
Okay, one more thing, Matt. I've been getting phone calls with complaints on Pelham Parkway South where the roadway is where people run or they walk or whatever.
Yep.
Okay, the
Pelham
complaints
Parkway
I've,
South or North, the Greenway that goes east and
right,
west.
right.
Yeah.
What I've been getting complaints about is that people go running and jogging and kids with scooters are knocking them over. Is
Yeah.
there any way we can put a sign that says caution or something?
No, I can't.
No, okay,
Unfortunately.
okay.
Here's why. DOT and the Parks Department came to an agreement with 3 scooter companies. They're the ones that you see around there.
Oh, we
One's
know,
Bird,
because, yeah.
one's Evo,
Mhm.
and one is I forget. But anyway, they're the 3 rental scooter companies. And so all of those companies have an agreement with DOT and with the Parks Department. The Parks Department part says they can't be used in parks, and they're geo-fenced. Partly part of the technology of these scooters is they connect with information coming digitally, like cell phones and stuff, and they're geo-fenced out of the parks, except for 2 areas, north and south through the Bronx River Greenway, which you guys have in Bronx Park that goes north and south,
Right,
and east-west along Pelham Parkway and Mashalou Parkway. So those are the areas that are open to this agreement.
yeah, we
So,
had Nevada at our meeting last month, so we
Yeah.
know what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do. Unfortunately, people don't adhere to the rules.
So if you notice, we put out prior to this lots of yellow signs that say no electric or motorized vehicles allowed in parks.
Hmm.
So if you see any of those, I can't write a ticket for it, but we're not going to remove any of those signs. We are going to keep those up because this is a trial. This is a trial agreement with DOT, us, and these companies. It doesn't mean it's going to last forever. The trial is for no more than 1 year, and I guess they're going to reevaluate it. What did Navarro say? Did he say how long it is?
No, he just
2
said
years. 2 years.
He said
It's
2
got-
years?
He says it's 2-year trial.
he did not say
I-
2 years at our meeting. He just said trial.
He
Yeah.
said it in yesterday's Allerton meeting. He was
Okay.
at he was at yesterday's Allerton meeting, and also Matt from DOT said it on the transportation meeting on Monday.
Okay, thank you for the information, Debbie.
2 years. I don't know what parks agreement. I did not hear 2 years, but I maybe. So,
That's really long for a trial. I think a
Right.
trial, 3 months, 6 months,
yeah.
even a year, I feel like is a long time,
I
but
just can't wait to see what
Nevada,
happens to these
yeah,
things in the
Nevada
winter.
wants to see how, exactly. Nevada wants to see how he's saying they want to basically see how it does throughout the winter and then back into warmer weather and stuff like that. And
We're gonna get a big snowstorm, and we're gonna find these at the bottom of snowplows after the snow melts away. I mean,
Oh
they're
my
gonna
God.
be
Listen,
plowed.
Matt, they're all
Are
over
they-
the streets. They're all over driveways. They're all over
I know.
crosswalks, and there's
they're
nothing.
they're in the Bronx River too.
I'm
People
trying not to be partial with this,
people are
but
throwing them in the Bronx River.
I am alls I could say is the complaints that are generated from this are taking up way too much time out of what should be doing. So you hope you understand. Could read between the
we
lines.
understand,
My
Lucas. Yeah.
feelings on these two. Yeah.
I hear ya. Matt, wouldn't they be, just to go to your point about the winter, City Bike clears out their bikes for the winter. Are they not gonna be cleared out for the winter?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no information on that.
Okay, no worries.
Novato and Matt were also saying that they're in the process of finalizing about clearing them off, clearing them off the street for when they know there's gonna be like snowstorms and stuff like that. Like actually make sure they're physically off the street so that they're not a hindrance for the snowplows.
Not even just a snowplow, just for people. Like, because they get left in the middle of the sidewalks, if they're covered in
Yeah, no,
snow, you don't
I
see
agree
them.
on that, but we're talking, DOT's answer.
Yeah. Okay. Matt, do you have any other updates for us?
Nope.
Debbie, Edith, do you have any other questions before
Yeah,
I
I
turn it
want to
over
know
to the-
how our signs are doing in the park regarding the barbecue. We weren't too bad this past year. Hopefully next year will be even better.
Yeah. There are signs.
Oh, yeah, I've seen them,
We've documented 7 spots, double-sided. That's 14 signs.
right?
There are also at every entrance with the signs where it has way too many words anyway, but that's
People don't
government.
read them anyway. It makes no difference.
But they're there, yeah.
I did see them down in our park. I've been down there. Thanks for the work that you've been doing, Matt. We appreciate it.
If you notice, we are doing some extra work on Pelham Parkway, trying to mulch some trees, and we're working our way. We
Okay.
just started. We're hoping to continue that work through the rest of this year, pending no snow. So if we have a snow-free December, that'll allow us to get more done.
All we can do is pray. Okay.
The city cleaning crew, the CCC, which is funding, stimulus funding that we got, has funded a whole bunch of lines that we're able to keep on through the rest of 2021. So we'll be using staff to do stuff like that throughout the borough. So you guys
Okay.
will see it on Pelham Parkway. And if you
Right.
go to just east of White Plains Road on the south part, that's where we started, and we're just going to work our
I
way
have a
around.
question now.
You'll see some of the work.
You know the thing that we have on Pelham Parkway South, that wall, the brick wall.
Yes.
Who's responsible for cleaning the garbage there? Is it Parks? Is it sanitation? Who is it?
It's both of us. Okay,
Well-
so you have that brick wall, and
Uh-huh.
on the grass side of the brick wall,
Right.
it's parks. On the other side of the brick wall, it's sanitation.
Okay, well, we have a big problem because it's disgusting. I was at a meeting yesterday on Kruger and Pelham Parkway South. You should see the garbage sitting over there.
It is. This happens all the time, and there's somebody over there that that feeds pigeons by dumping so
You know
much
who that
bread
is.
and
I know who
and
that is. I've already
trying to
spoken to him.
trying to stop it, but putting signs
Well, I'll
up.
tell you who
signs
it
get
is.
ripped
It's a
down.
guy. It's a guy that works for Bonavita because he does it
I've-
on our block too.
We've seen it and we've talked to him.
Yeah,
So,
well, he doesn't goes in one ear and out the other.
yeah. And we got to catch him before we could issue any summons.
Right, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, so I'm going to, unless you have any other, either of you have any other questions, I'm about to open it to the gallery session. Actually, Natalie, because you're a community board member, do you have any questions or concerns for Matt before I go to gallery? Natalie, are you still there? Maybe she left. No, I see her here. Natalie, if you're talking, you're on mute. Maybe she stepped away. Okay, so I will open it to the gallery and then Natalie, if she comes back. So I'm just going to go. Are you there, Natalie?
No, that's Roxanne. Don't got
Oh, okay. Hi, Roxanne. I'm just gonna go down the list that I see here in the participants window of the
Okay.
public. So the first one that I have here is Michael Taylor. Michael, are you do you have any concerns that you want to raise, a member of the public, or any questions?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Taylor. I have a fitness group, Team Spartan Spades, and we provide free workouts Monday through Friday at Bronx Park East. My question was for Matt, being that he's the manager. Who would I talk to in in order to get a storage bin for use at Bronx Park East and Arno Avenue? Like if I paid for it, just to get the authorization to have it in the park, similar to the ones at Van Cortlandt Park and other parks throughout the Bronx,
Okay,
the
that would be
fitness
me.
equipment. Okay.
So, did you, and it usually is applied, um, we, well, let's talk offline, okay?
Okay.
First, has your group applied for a permit for this? So you have an active permit?
No. The group is normally just people who pass through to do the workout. So we have under like 10 people at a time. What it is that I have a lot of gear that we use for the different sessions that I bring out, but I currently keep it in my car. And
Right.
seeing some of the stuff at the other parks, like with Bronx Soul, they have like the rigid storage bin that they use to keep their stuff in. I was just looking to get one of those for this site without having to go
It's,
through the for program
yeah, I know
partnership for parks program.
that's the best way to do it. Have you gone through them?
No, I just figured that since I wasn't trying to apply for a grant, that I would just have to speak to someone who authorizes the implementation of those kind of storage
Okay,
units into parks.
let me give you my email and we'll connect.
Okay.
And then I'll go
Yes.
through with the stuff. It usually first starts with having a permitted group for
Okay.
regular routine access. And I could go over this with you too, but no
Okay.
sense taking up the time here. So my email
Yes.
is
Thank you.
Matthew,
Uh huh.
Matthew dot
Uh huh.
DOIRON
Uh huh.
at parks, PARKS dot NYC dot GOV.
Okay. Thank you
I'm
very
gonna put
much.
it in the chat, okay?
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Great,
So yeah,
thank you.
send me an email and then we'll connect, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Great, thanks, Michael. Next on the list, again, I'm just going by the order that people are showing up in the participants list, is Roxanne.
Okay, thank you. I have just 3 comments, please. First, regarding the barbecue signs, we do not have any barbecuing signs east of Bronxwood Avenue and on Pelham Parkway North, and that's where most of the barbecue happens, right across the school for special education. Only because there's no residents and people tend to barbecue there. There was 2 signs posted nearby the Bronxwood, but since they were installed with zip ties, they fell apart within 2 weeks. One of the signs is at my home, and the other sign that gets parked before Parks picked it up as part of their maintenance. So as of late July, early August, we had no barbecue signs at all east of Bronxwood Avenue, Pelham Parkway North. And I'll send documentation to the I guess to Parks deputy chief or someone. But second, e-scooters. The problem is that since Parks made that agreement with those 3 companies, they basically opened a Pandora box, because now how can you say to someone who owns one of these scooters that they can ride on the Greenway, but someone who rents a shared scooter can do so? So that now opened the door where we have anything that's electric motorized on 2 wheels using the Greenway, and some go up to over 25, 30 miles per hour. And unfortunately, we had an incident recently where one of our elders was startled by one of them and fell to the ground and was taken to the hospital by his son, and asked his son to write a letter to DOT to document it. Yes, the e-scooter did not at all touch this man, but unfortunately it startled him and he fell to the ground and suffered some injuries, not severely, but nonetheless, he's an elder, and that was unfortunate because now he's traumatized where he's afraid to walk without being escorted. Lastly, regarding the Mother Teresa, I thought it was unfair for the district manager to propose to present it to the full board meeting recently in September as Mark Jonah donating money. And first of all, it's not a donation, it's actually being funded by taxpayers' money. Secondly, I and two other members of the public expressed our concerns after the leadership voted on it. And none of those concerns were mentioned at all at the full board meeting before they took the vote. And I thought that was unfair. And lastly, there's no design of scope at all of this plaza, which could be basically cementing over 25 square feet of well, they say Molinar, but per the Parks NYC Capital Tracker, it says Seymour. So I really would like the community board to reconsider not to send a no objection to something that we don't even know what it is. We should have waited for the design and scope and listened to public input and concerns before they voted on something, because Councilmember Jonai is leaving here at the end of the year and he wants this letter of no objection. But again, this is taxpayers' money. This is not Councilmember Jonai's money to decide on his own what he wants. So hopefully, I did make complaints to some city agencies regarding this vote last month, but I hope some members of the board will reconsider their vote, because you're voting on something that hasn't even been designed or scoped. And we have to make sure that this is something that the public has input, because again, it's all our money. It's not just Councilmember Jonai's or a few people's money. It's all of our money. We work very hard for our money, considering me too. I work very hard for all my dollars. And I would like to have a say in this, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Roxanne. Next, Bruni Roa. Do you have any questions or concerns that you want to bring to the Parks Committee? Bruni, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Thank you. No, I don't have I'm thinking, but so far so good. I don't have any concerns. I'm listening to all the interesting issues, and Roxanne, oh my God, yeah, she is totally correct. Okay, thank you. No comments or no concerns. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Lisa, can my concern regarding the no barbecue signs be addressed? Because if we could put barbecue signs now, so we could do the outreach, because I've actually been very involved in stopping barbecues with PEP officers, and they're amazing, the PEP officers. They've been very, very friendly and helpful as much as possible. We stopped a lot of barbecues this summer, but to have signs, it's hard to tell people not to barbecue when we don't have any signs. Please.
Matt, are you still on?
Heard, noted.
Okay. I mean, I would guess probably this would be addressed next summer.
All I could say, I want to just make a public statement that the Parks Department does not advise anybody to approach anybody else in a park to stop them from doing anything in any park. They have no enforcement authority. And so I just do want to make that public statement.
Okay. Thank you. And then I think the last person, oh, actually, no, sorry, there's two more people. Diana Finch.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Matt. So Bronx Park East Community Association, so far we're very happy with the progress on the Waring Playground renovation. It seems to be going at a good pace, and there are members of the community who go every day to look at it and see what's happening. We also were really glad to see that there was a extensive planting of new trees along Bronx Park East from like Pelham Parkway North up to Allerton. This just happened in the last couple of weeks. And who do we go to get a schematic of what the different species of trees are that were planted? People just want to know more about the new trees. There's a lot of them, like 20 or so, 24.
Yeah, did you check to see if there's tags with labels on the trees?
No, there aren't. I did check.
Oh.
And the contractor who was doing it told me there were 3 different species, but he didn't have time to.
Yeah, I don't know. If you could shoot me an email, I could tell you what the species are. I'd have to just go out and take a look.
Right.
The other places you could go on the park's website under forestry and see if they have the data available.
Right.
They might not. I'm not sure. Those would be the only 2 places.
Okay.
You could also, if you send me an email, We eventually will have all that data and put it in our database, but when it comes to contracts, it takes a little while because the contractors are doing all their planting and they hold the data until they submit it to us, and they usually submit it in big lots.
Right.
And then we input it in our forms database, which is our forestry management system.
Okay.
So that includes
Yeah.
location, spatial location, species, size, class, and so we'll know.
Okay.
If
And
you
then,
shoot me an email, we could figure that out.
all right, thanks. And then there are a couple of trees that were planted maybe in the last couple of years, not very recently, not just in the last few weeks, but a year or two ago, that have seemed to have died. And people are asking me what's the procedure for replacing them. There are two, in fact, on White
So-
Plains Road where the 39 bus southbound is between Pelham Parkway South Service Road and Pelham Parkway.
Well, depends on who planted it. Do you know who planted it?
No, I mean, I assume it was Parks.
Okay, if it was Parks, then it might not be replaced in the exact same location.
Okay,
If it was planted under a planting contract, then the contractor is responsible for the guarantee period. And I don't know the exact guarantee period. I know it's over a year. It's over a year, maximum 2 years. It might be a 2-year guarantee period.
okay. I can
And
email
so-
you pictures of the trees that people are asking about.
Okay.
Then thank you for replacing our trash cans. Somehow our trash cans seem to have disappeared along Bronx Park East, but they're all back now, except for the area it's sort of a no man's land, forgotten area. Along Pelham Parkway between Boston Road and the entrance to the Bronx River Parkway, between Pelham Parkway and Pelham Parkway North.
Okay.
Do you know which area I mean?
Not specifically.
It's a little like triangle. Just after you cross Boston Road and you're headed over towards Fordham
Is it
Road.
east? Is it east or west of Boston Road?
East of Boston Road.
East of Boston Road. So it's in between Boston Road and White Plains Road.
No, sorry, west of Boston Road.
West of Boston.
Right.
So it's in between Boston Road and Bronx River Parkway.
Yes.
Okay. And it's
And
just
between Pelham Parkway, westbound.
and it's just north of the
Service
it's
Road.
just north. Yeah, it's just north of the westbound travel lanes on Pelham Parkway, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And there are no trash cans there, and there's a big problem with trash there.
Yeah, that's a
And when
huge illegal dumping area.
Yeah, but if there were trash cans, there are 0 trash cans. And if there were
Yeah.
trash cans, that would give us a start, and wouldn't be so difficult for the cleaning crews who come through. When they cut the grass and clean, they end up with piles and piles of garbage bags.
Yeah.
But if we had trash cans, there's 0 trash cans in that area. And the corresponding area south of Pelham Parkway along Boston Road between Pelham Parkway and the entrance to the zoo has many trash cans.
Yeah.
And on the north side, we have 0 in that.
Okay. Well, I'll put one or two up there.
Okay.
Now I have this conversation with a lot of community groups and community people many times every year. Trash, and I entered the Parks Department with through forestry as a tree expert, and I have a history of environmental science, and that's where my studies are. And right now, I would say what I do is I do trash management.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm very close to a sanitation worker as it gets.
And Matt,
And we get to study this. Yeah, someone was saying something?
yeah, I was saying, Mark John, I was giving away trash cans.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe
I do want to make
This
this,
is-
and
this is
none of
just
you are probably
outside.
going to believe me. None of you are probably going to believe me when I say this, that trash cans do nothing to uh, get trash to go up into the cans. When
I
we put
believe
out
you.
when we put out more trash cans, we get more dumping. And so in some cases, we remove trash cans to get rid of the amount of dumping that we get, and we'll just pick up what gets fallen down as best as we can.
Okay, well, right now,
So,
we have requests from every resident of that area, every member of Bronx Park East Community Association. We want trash cans. We want trash cans there. We can do cleanups, but then we don't have any trash cans to put the trash in.
Mm-hmm.
okay, I don't want you guys doing
Community
cleanups and
wants-
putting the trash in the trash cans either. So, if you're gonna do cleanups, bag the stuff up and make a pile with all the bags in a location.
We want
And you
trash
could,
cans. Please, please, please. We would like trash cans.
I hear your
Because what
request,
happens
but
is that
I'm
people
also
don't have trash cans. They put the trash into the tree guards that are around the trees on the sidewalk, thinking that
okay.
at least it's contained there, but it looks horrible.
We'll put some trash cans there. We'll see what happens. But
Okay,
I
thank you.
received, but I also hear what I just said. If you guys are doing cleanups, I don't want you putting the garbage bags in the trash cans, because then
Okay,
we
yes,
got
I
to
hear
take it
you.
out of the trash cans. So if you're
Okay.
doing it, just bag them up, tie them up, put them all in a location, and shoot me an email. My email's here, and let me know that we did a cleanup and here's garbage bags, and we'll pick it up.
That sounds
So,
good.
yeah.
And then the PEP officers, we've had some problems even with most of the park fenced off for the Waring Playground reconstruction, with very large parties in the park. Is there a way that we can contact the PEP officers directly when something like that is developing? Because we reach out to the NCOs and they help out to the extent they can, but it's not really their jurisdiction.
It is. It is. I don't know why they say it. They can help out. It's the New York City Parks Police
Well, the
Department.
problem with the NCOs is that they help out if they can, but they have many other duties in the entire precinct that are not the parks.
Right.
And a noisy party is kind of low priority for them, which we understand. But for the PEP officers, that's their mandate.
What time is this happening?
Well, they usually start setting up in the afternoon. So the residents know when these are going to be developing, because they usually start setting up like 3, 4 in the afternoon, and then they go on, past midnight. I mean, people
Okay.
don't get really concerned until it's late and loud, but they can tell when the parties are going to be.
I send me an email
Okay.
to that you want that number for PEP. I don't have it offhand,
Right. Okay.
but I'll reply and I'll give you the number.
Okay. And then could you go over the greenways and the e-scooters one more time? I'm a little confused. They are allowed, the rental e-scooters. They
Rental
are
e-scooters.
allowed on the greenways,
Correct.
north, south in Bronx
East,
Park
west.
East,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
east, west on Pelham Parkway.
Correct.
Because it looks like on some of the apps that the east, west on Pelham Parkway is marked as a no-go zone. And there are areas where people seem to be riding the e-scooter into the park, not realizing that it's a no-go zone, and then the e-scooter dies and they leave it there in the park
Well,
because they can't
I have
why it isn't working.
I have no comment on that. Alls I know is
Okay.
the east-west on Pelham Parkway and Mashalou Parkway and north-south through the Bronx River Parks is allowed.
And they could leave them anywhere they want.
So then
No,
are
they
there
can't.
places in the parks where they are not allowed?
Yeah, they're not supposed to leave them in the parks,
Mhm.
Okay,
but
so
they're
you can
allowed to
ride them in the
travel
park, but
to
you're
the
not supposed
parks.
to leave them in the park.
Yeah, but out. Yeah, but
Okay,
I mean, we've already been counting these that have been left in park zones, and we're like almost in the thousands already. Someone goes around and counts the number of scooters that are left in certain parks and in zones every single day, and we did it for like a month, and we stopped now because it's a waste of time and effort because what type of enforcement are we able to do? Not much. It's
Right.
the so
I
the,
mean, in our
it's the
opinion,
company's responsibility to come get these and take them out of the parks.
right,
Not Parks Department has no responsibility or jurisdiction with any of these scooters. It's entirely on the company that these are from.
so the feedback that we're getting from people who ride the scooters and like riding the scooters is that the apps are not crystal clear about a lot of things. And one of the things the apps are, they're not really clear about how to use the kickstands, about where exactly you're supposed to park the e-scooters. And there's a lot of confusion about whether or not you're supposed to ride them in the parks. And it's to be on the apps that where it's not clear.
All right. Well,
It's the company's fault, in other
that's the
words.
companies.
Yeah,
That's the companies. Yeah.
yeah.
We're going through the, I'm learning sort of as you guys are seeing it play out too. So there was this surprised me when it showed up on day one.
Mhm.
But so talks were being had downtown with the brass and Parks Department and in DOT, and then it went into effect and they executed this agreement, and then it shows up and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on here? And then I find out. So and you guys are seeing it play out, and I'm finding out that these are the agreements and the rules for this stuff too. So
Right. And it seems like the companies should have some way of creating areas where you cannot park, using their technology to create areas where you cannot park the e-scooters, but they don't seem to do that. They create areas where you can't ride them, but not where you can't park them.
Diane, you were at our meeting last month when we had Novato, right?
Yes.
Yes, and you heard what he said. They can park it, they can leave them anywhere they want.
Right, but I'm saying, why don't the companies create areas where, with using their geofencing, using the technology where you cannot park?
Well, the problem is these things run out of juice, and when they run out of juice, they just leave them.
Yeah, but you get a warning when they're gonna, you can see how much juice it has, and they tell you like how far you can go with the juice that's in it, and so it shouldn't be happening by surprise.
You're right. You're 100% right. I agree with you.
And then last thing is Zimmerman Playground. Everybody is hoping that something can be done for it. And I think that our Congresswoman is trying to get federal funds. AOC is trying to get federal funds from the stimulus, which if we need $10-20 million, maybe that's where we'll have to get it from. So I hope we can all support her in that.
Let's hope so. All right, thank you. Do you have anything else? Or was that it?
No, and also Michael Taylor's group, I just wanted to mention, they use the adult exercise equipment area that's in Allerton, Bronx Park East, and Allerton and Arno. That's where they have their workouts, making use of that equipment.
Great, thank you. And then
Makes sense.
the last person we have here is Matt Caulfield. Matt, did you want to address the committee?
Yes, please. I'd love to. Um, I just want to express how frustrated I am with the process in Loretto Park. It's just been brutal, and I've been just desperately, but always very calmly trying to reach out to parks and get real answers. And just every step of the way, they just deflect any accountability for pushing this thing along on schedule. I'd love to just, if you guys are privy to more private meetings, I'd love to ask more follow-up questions and ask for more documentation of what they're telling us, such as like what materials are delayed, because those were never discussed when they were deflecting onto the Con Ed issue. And now it's a whole lighting redesign. They have to bring the whole lighting scheme up to today's standards, and I wonder why was that not discovered through the planning process, which seems already way too extensive. So yeah, that's I'd love more and more follow up, because there's conspiracy theories that are starting to crop up in the community about what is really happening there, and I'm not even going to entertain those until I have all the information. But I do think it's pretty corrosive to the neighborhood, the situation there.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
And this is, I guess, what suggestions does the community have that the agency should do to
It's
speed
hard to
this up?
say because they won't. It seems like they're very reluctant to dialogue, and kind of the attitude that's been received is kind of, we don't have to tell you that. That's kind of the attitude. So if that's the starting off point, I mean, what do you think they're going to do with any suggestions? Like, my suggestion would just be, let us know what's going on, and then maybe we can have a suggestion.
Okay. They're still within their time frame.
That's not true. Well, the time frame that's got pushed.
Yeah, it got pushed back, right? And so
Yeah.
the time frame, sort of the clock got reset. So
Yeah.
they're within the reset time frame. I don't know if it will make any of it any easier as you walk by it and take a look at that. But I've, as a employee of Parks, been involved in this process for 16 years now. I could tell you that it's not a great contractor. It's not a bad contractor. They're actually, from my perspective, I look at it, they're dead on right average for a contractor executing a capital contract for a parks reconstruction. So, like I said, that's not going to ease any frustrations that any of you have, but I get to see a lot of these all over the place and all different parks, all throughout the whole borough. And before I was the manager of just this section of the borough, I did deal with it for the entire borough. I was directly involved in the parks capital process, and and over 10 years ago, it was even slower than it is now. You could believe that. So
Yeah. I think the biggest frustration, which I don't know, I don't think anybody's particularly complaining about the contractor, because we just don't even know enough. Like, they have been reached out to at times, and that they claim that they're waiting on like a disposal plan, for example, which was the big thing last year, that kind of mounds of debris were left there around the holidays. And so, yeah, I don't know if anybody's really saying that the contractor is wrong. We just have no information, and with that lack of information, people just kind of start spinning out and starting to say this is political and things of that nature, which is just totally unnecessary. If we were just asking basic questions and just want basic facts, and I guess, I don't know, maybe the committee can work to do a FOIL request. I don't know what the next steps are, but yeah, just like I said, it seems pretty corrosive.
Matt, see if I can just offer a little bit of suggestion from our the Bronx Park East Community Association experience with the Waring Playground
Yeah,
reconstruction.
but it sounds like that's going well. Yeah.
It is, because we put a lot of work into the preparation stages and formed relationships with the people involved, and they came and spoke to our group of what the plans were and got feedback and took questions, and before they'd even broken ground.
Hmm.
This was
And
the
we
contractor that
involved
did
our,
that, Diane?
sorry?
This was the contractor that did that?
No, not the contractor, Parks.
Oh, okay.
Even before the contractor was selected. And then, we had one person kind of be the contact and check in with Parks every once in a while about how things were going. And we involved our council person in it. Because he was responsible for a lot of the funding.
That all sounds very good. I mean, I wonder if people on this committee have any thoughts on that.
It took a lot of work,
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to do it myself. But I feel like a lot of times they feel like I'm stepping way out of my bounds because I'm not on any committee and things like that.
I think maybe the groundwork wasn't done before when the design and the.
I think the groundwork was done because of one of our meetings, Matt, do you remember? Well, part of it, we had all the architects there showing us the plans. That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we had it. This was in full design. This was ready to go. COVID hit.
Right.
Everything got delayed. And then once we got the green light to execute the contract and to go into construction stage, then it gets given to the contractor. I think you guys are. It's hard to understand the process unless you work inside of it. And even still, it takes a while to figure out all of it. It's complex, it's government work, it's ridiculously labored with the number of people and the processes and the permits and everything that has to be done, from design to procurement to awards, to make sure everything is fair. Then there's so many parts of it with the rules for who you hire as subcontractors, all that. But once it goes to contract, okay, the primary responsibility falls on the contractor. And that's why we give them a time, we let them go, and we monitor them, and they keep giving feedback to our capital team, and they might be slower and things might not be happening, but it's still the contractor's responsibility. And there's not too much that Parks could do to speed it up. There really isn't.
Well, it's not that we went into this blind, Matt. I mean, let everybody understand.
Yeah.
We worked on the blueprint.
No, there was right. This, and you could speak to the fact that we were in talks about getting Loretto done, for a year or two before we even, you guys decided on a final plan. And so there was a lot of communication back and forth with the plans and the meetings, and it was
We had a lot of meetings with Iris.
lots of meetings. Yeah. Yep. And it was the same. It was pretty much the same for Waring Playground. I don't think they had any more. We do communicate stuff. Some contracts just go slower depending on the contractor. And it is mostly dependent on the contractor that gets it. We don't.
Is there any way we can get the contractor to meet with us at the next meeting?
No, it's not required.
Can you get into?
They don't.
But
no.
I will say that the contractor has been very responsive, and anybody that just goes by and looks at the posted poster can get their information right there. If you are curious to reach out to.
If you see somebody and you see like the general contractor or any of the design guys or anybody there standing outside the fence, ask them. See what you get. But they They do not have
Can
an
we ask
obligation to
them?
meet with the public. No.
So, but can we ask them? I mean, or do you just think that there's no point in even asking?
You can't ask them. You'd have to go through us because it's
Right,
our
that's what I mean.
contract.
When I say
Yeah.
we, I mean you. Sorry.
So the only way that anything you have, it would be, I think you have Michael Ortiz's email address.
Yes.
So he's the Bronx Capital Contract Manager. So any request you have, you might feel like you're getting lip service and you're getting sort of stock answers, generic answers that are coming back, but all he does is reach out to the contractor and find out, and then he'll get in touch with you. So that's the way to get any information from the contractor.
Lisa, maybe we should write a letter to him on behalf of the community board and our committee.
Do you want to write a letter to him, or do you want to just ask him to come to our next meeting?
If he'll
Yeah,
come.
why don't you
Okay.
reach out and make a request that he comes to the next meeting, because everybody has a whole bunch of questions that are directly related to Loretto Playground's construction project.
Okay. We can do that.
Yep.
Matt,
But
if
you do manage to get Mr. Ortiz on the phone, I would really urge you, because I'm not sure that he will be willing to meet with us. Just ask what materials are delayed.
Well,
Because
I think
he's come to meetings before.
He's come to meetings.
Yeah.
He'll come to meetings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So write all your questions down, have everything, and what you could do is send him a list of the questions ahead of time, and then he'll come to the meeting and be able to address everything.
Well,
with
he'd
you.
be prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the stuff, if you ask him, what's the list of materials that the contractor keeps saying he can't get?
Exactly.
He'll be like, I have no idea. He's going to have to get that from the contractors, from the capital team. So
that's why I think beforehand, if he picks up your phone call, give him the questions before he wastes our time.
And if you could ask
have it get to him in writing.
And just to remind everyone, that whole area is getting repaved. It's like a parking lot that's going to be painted like a baseball field. It's not anything elaborate. I understand that there's electrical things involved now, but again, why wasn't that discovered in the planning process?
All right, so we'll try to get him for our next meeting. And hopefully he will be able to answer.
Let me just answer that. At our meeting, Matt, if you remember, we did ask questions regarding the lighting inside and outside. Remember?
Yep.
Okay. So it's not that we neglected any of the questions. We asked them.
We had an entire panel from our capital division in Queens. We had Mike there. We had like 4 or 5 people from capital that all were directly associated with the planning, with the design, with everything that were in this meeting that you're talking about. And myself too, I was there too.
Yeah, I know that. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Natalie. Natalie from the community board had a question.
Hey, everyone. This question is for Matt. I think it's also about Loretto Playground. I had asked a couple of weeks ago if we had any details on what the water management plans are going to be for this field, since it's going to be a mainly impervious surface. And I'm worried about the runoff it's going to create and how that's being mitigated.
Yeah, I have no answer for that.
And can the design team look into it and provide some answers?
That would be something good to include on the questions to Mike Ortiz. Then he could bring the answers at the
I'm sorry, hold on. Natalie, can you mute your phone?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you mute? We'll hear yourself back.
Oh, yes. Where to go?
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Okay. I'm still getting feedback.
Oh, no, we're still getting feedback. I'm gonna mute everybody and then Matt, if you could just unmute yourself to talk.
All right, could you hear me now? Yeah, that's better. So yeah, I have no idea. That's part of the design process. Type of impervious, I guess, blacktop. I understand your question. I have no answer for it. Include that in the list of items that you want Mike to come back with answers for, and he could address that in the next meeting. That's specific to the design, and I don't have an answer. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. Natalie, did you have anything else?
No, that was all.
Okay, great. Oh, I just need you to mute yourself again. Okay. And Roxanne had a quick
Yes.
clarification to her
Yes.
earlier comments.
Thank you, Lisa. I'll make it real short. As a Friends of Pelham Parkway for the last 5 years cleaning the parkway, I'd like to address the issue brought up regarding Pelham Parkway North and Boston Road regarding all the trash. We did a cleanup with the tenants at 665 Pelham Parkway North last summer, and all the trash we picked up was mostly illegal dumping because we don't have that many park users using that section of the parkway. And we actually found 2 stores, a florist and a grocery store nearby, which I will not mention their name. And we gave that information to PEP officers, and they actually summons those 2 businesses, so that reduced the illegal dumping. But a lot of the cars that park alongside there do most of the illegal dumping. It's not basically trash where people are using the park, having picnics or playing activity, and they're not tossing the trash in the trash cans. It's a lot of illegal dumping in that spot. Second, regarding the trees on Pelham Parkway South in Boston and White Plains Road, those trees were notified to me by many of our volunteers, and believe me, we have lots of volunteers, but I don't. And I sent emails several times to forestry last year. Unfortunately, I just found out this year from one of the deputy commissioners that the best way of making those complaints is 311. Those trees are out of contract, but we should do a 311 nonetheless, which I would do soon. I've been a little busy. And lastly, I would like to repeat again, if the community board will help me out, just send an email to Parks, a letter or email to Parks regarding that we have no barbecue signs east of Bronxwood, because having signs is also outreach. I cannot be there every day telling people that barbecue is not allowed on the parkway. When we have those signs, people actually pay attention. Some people, not everybody, but signs does help. So we could have those signs put up now, because the signs that were put up this year were done right 2 days before July 4, and they were already, they fell apart two weeks afterwards because the parks installed them with zip ties. And I have pictures, because I have one of the signs at home. I think I'll return.
Okay, Roxanne, I'm sorry. Yes, you already mentioned that. So we're gonna move on because it's already
I was hoping you
8:18.
write an email asking Parks to put those barbecue signs east of Bronxwood, because we have none.
Okay.
Thank
Well, Matt already knows, so we don't need to send an email because he's already aware. He's made a note of it. And we'll make sure that we bring it up again as we get closer to the summer season.
All right,
Sorry, I somehow muted myself. All right, so that is everything. Is there any old business from the members? Any new business? Okay, I just have one quick piece of new business that I meant to mention at the beginning and I forgot. I want to change these meeting times. Since I have to run these meetings, it's hard for me to, this day and time is kind of hard to do. So I wanted to move it to the second Thursday of the month at 7:30. Unless there's any objections from the members of the committee.
No objection.
Well,
Okay.
the second Thursday is good, as long as it doesn't interfere with the community board, that's fine.
No, the community board is
The last
fourth
Thursday.
fourth month. The third Thursday is leadership. The fourth Thursday is full board.
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. So I'll have Jeremy move that for next month.
Okay, I have one announcement, if I may, before I sign off. Pelham Parkway Neighborhood Association is having our meeting next Tuesday at 2134 Barnes Avenue, and guess who our speaker is? Department of Sanitation. If anybody has any problems, please join us.
When is it again? I'm sorry.
8 o'clock next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday at what time?
12th,
At what time?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I
Lisa,
second it.
Lisa, I just forgot, one thing I was supposed to ask about. It's Diana.
Hi, okay, really quick.
The CSA as a precursor to the farmer's market in Bronx
Mhm.
Park East by Leidig, by the
Mhm.
Commerce Mall.
Yep.
It was a huge success this summer. And we're starting to think about the plans for expanding it into a farmer's market for next summer.
Mhm.
And if there's any advice that Matt has for us about what we should be doing, what we should keep in mind. The person who's really spearheading it, I think you guys met her, Judy Desir,
Mhm.
who's actually from Harlem. But Bronx Park East Community Association is helping her out as much as we can. So anything that we need to know about getting our plans in place for next summer for a full farmer's market. If Matt
Okay.
has any advice for us.
I don't have any right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I will. All right. So CSA, fine, not a problem with permit, low scale farmers market. That's a big step up.
Yeah, I realize.
So I think you would have to have all your expectations completely written down and ready to go, and then we would have to have a meeting to sit down and see the best way to accommodate it.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds
Okay.
good.
Not saying we can't accommodate all of it. I'm just saying let's
Right.
meet first so we could see. I mean, I thought the CSA worked good.
Yeah, it was great.
There's limits to how much I could approve with special events. So that would just take us to that next meeting where we could
Right.
look at it and maybe adjust both sides to see how could we get to where something that's acceptable to both sides. Make sure it happens. So do you guys like it?
Be a small farmers market, not a, not a Union Square farmers market.
We
But
need
to
it. We would
expand
need
on the
need the
CSA.
expectations in writing, and we'd have to set up a meeting. So,
Okay.
new permits, we could start talking about them after the 1st of January. So
Right.
we got to wait for 2022 permits to 2022,
Okay.
but we can start talking about it in January. And I think that would be a good time to start talking about it. Yeah, so everybody's on the same page when we get into the growing season, which isn't that far, past January.
Right,
So,
exactly. Okay, great. Thank you.
okay, sure.
Okay, that being said, meeting is adjourned at 8:24. Thank you, everybody.